Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be covering the top retention flows that every direct-to-consumer brand needs. And this isn't going to cover everything. There's going to be flows that aren't included in this video here, things like, the customer win back, etc. These are just the five most important that are essentially going to make and break your account. All right, so it's going to be the welcome flow, abandoned checkout, abandon or browse abandonment, site abandonment, and the post purchase. So let's dive right in. Okay, so for the welcome flow, it needs to be relatively long. All right. Now, most brands, what they do is they set up anywhere from 1 to 3, and they never optimize. They don't know the proper structure. And what ends up happening is people end up opting into your list, and now you're super forgettable. You get lost in the, sort of chaos of their inbox, and you never really make an impression on them, and you never really make that much money. So what you want to do essentially is, number one, you want to prove that your brand has high quality emails. Number two, you need to prove that your emails are delivering value, whether that's in terms of like solving a certain problem, proving that the brand is number one in your particular category, or even displaying aesthetic value in terms of like the overall email. um, you need to be displaying value. And most importantly, you need to be separating the brand from competitors. So that's what you're going to be doing in email number one, essentially, is just welcoming them to the brand, giving them, whatever incentive you gave in exchange for their email address. And you need to be separating the brand from competitors, because what's happening is they're likely subscribed to anywhere from 3 to 5, sometimes even 10 of your competitors, and they're sort of window shopping, and they kind of just group all you guys into one category. And you don't want to be in there, because then they're going to be just price shopping essentially. So you want them to sort of categorize your brand in its own, sort of category. And then they're buying based on the brand. They're buying based on the actual value that your brand brings. So you're going to want to focus on unique selling points. Number two, and this isn't going to work for every brand, what you're going to want to do is resend the same exact welcome email one to anybody who doesn't open after the first 24 hours, but with a different subject line. And that's going to capture, the percentage of people who don't open the first welcome email. Maybe they didn't see it. Maybe the subject line didn't necessarily catch their attention. Maybe they got distracted, whatever. But you want to give them another opportunity to open that. And as you can see right here, that generates an extra $8,200. So definitely worth testing out. Sometimes, it's not going to work out. Like the open rate's going to be really low. Nobody's really going to engage and purchase. So in which case, just get rid of it. But in this case, it works quite well. Number two is going to be the brand story, and focusing in more depth on the unique selling points of the brand. And then, social proof, basically, like, okay, other customers like you are, socially validating that this works, or that it's a high quality product, or that they're happy with the experience. This is the best way to convince somebody to buy your product. So there's other ways you can display social proof. So besides customer reviews, you could also do press mentions, things like, here's what Forbes magazine had to say about us, here's what Vogue magazine had to say about us, etc. Or customer user generated content. It's like, all right, here is this person who tagged us in their Instagram wearing our product. So, basically it's like, okay, people are buying using this product, and also, having a great experience with it. And then just more value, either about the brand or, other unique selling points. It's like, all right, so you buy one of these, we give 3. You're basically contributing 3 days of schooling to a child in, some third world country, let's just say. More brand story. And then somewhere in the welcome sequence, you want to restate the welcome, the initial welcome offer. So the one from welcome email one, or you can increase the incentive a little bit. You want to test it out, and you want to test this at different slots in the flow. Like this was originally welcome email 7. We tested it in the email 4 slot, and it outperformed. So that's what you want to do. So that's the welcome series. That's going to be the most important one. And it's the one that literally nobody A/B tests or optimizes. So it's going to be a huge competitive advantage if you manage to, get it performing super, super well. So next we have the abandoned checkout. This one is relatively self-explanatory. Essentially, we're going to be following up with anybody who adds a product to their cart and then initiates checkout. So keep in mind that this is going to be separate from the standard, abandoned cart, in that it's only triggered when somebody starts a checkout. And there's a few things you want to keep in mind. So the overall strategy here is just give them a reminder anywhere after 30 minutes to 4 hours. You want to A/B test that, which is what we have here. Give them a reminder without any discount code. All right. And then after 24 hours or a day or whatever, you want to remind them, that time is running out. So you don't necessarily need to give an offer here, although you could give your lower offer. Essentially, what this flow is going to consist of is a reminder with 0% off. And then number two, you're going to give a lower offer, which could be like 10% off, etc. And then a higher offer to convert the people who didn't buy at the lower offer. Okay. And throughout this flow, you're filtering out anybody who buys at each stage. So somebody who buys on email 1 isn't going to be served email 2, etc. So this one could either be another reminder, basically just, a reminder plus urgency, time's running out, your card is expiring, etc. Or you could give your lower offer of 10% off or whatever you choose to use. All right. And then following up here. So right here, we tested the time delay, 12 hours versus 1 day, etc. Definitely worth testing out as well. All right, so this one, we're basically giving more urgency on the 10% off. So for instance, this one is 10% off. This one is 10% off plus urgency. It's essentially like, okay, your 10% off is still here. We're just sending you a reminder, but there's only 24 hours left until it sort of expires. And then following up here, okay, 15% off. So this is the higher offer, okay? So these people, they saw the offer, they saw the urgency of the 10% off. It still wasn't enough to kick them over the fence to becoming a customer. So we're going to give them 15% off. And as you can see right here, a good amount of people are going to be converting from that. Sort of the last email here is going to be the 15% off plus urgency. All right, last call. This is expiring in 24 hours, etc. And if this performs really well, then you could actually add another one. Sort of down here, but in this case, this was sufficient. So overall, converting super well. So you want to do something like that. All right. So how do we structure the browse abandonment? So browse abandonment is basically anybody who views any product, but doesn't add any of the products to their cart. All right. So again, you're going to want to A/B test the time delay here. We tested everything from 4 hours to 30 minutes. 30 minutes one. And then the first one is going to be a reminder. It's like, all right, like we saw that you were checking out this product, or, did this catch your eye, or did you see something you liked or whatever? For this particular brand, it made the most sense to go with, oh, you have great taste. And then it basically dynamically shows them the product that they were looking at, which is like some dress or something, right? So that's the reminder. And then 1 day later, and as you can see right here, we A/B tested a few different things. I think for this one, this was A/B testing the overall structure. For instance, this one was a 0% off sort of like reminder. And then this one is 10% off. So you want to test that out and then see what has more overall revenue. But anyways, this one ended up winning out, and this is the 10% off. Follow up 1 day later, your offer is about to expire, 10% off. And again, throughout this entire process, you want to be A/B testing different subject lines, etc. So especially towards the top of the flow. So this one is 10% off plus urgency. It's about to expire. And then if they don't buy after 24 hours, this one right here, basically their offer expires. You follow up here, enjoy 15% off. Okay, so this is going to convert a certain amount of people, 1% of people in this case, who didn't buy at 10% off after 2 reminders plus, like an urgency factor. So you send them 15% off. And then finally, the final sort of email for this flow here is last call for 15% off. Again, similar to the abandoned checkout. 24 hours, the 15% off is going to be expiring. So the overall framing of the browse abandonment is going to be slightly different to the abandoned checkout, just because their level of buying intent is lower. They're sort of just window shopping. So you still need to sell them on the brand. So in this one, it's going to be much more so about like the focusing on unique selling points underneath the calls to action, the offers, etc., on each email versus the abandoned checkout. Like they're pretty much sold on the brand, they're sold on the product, but there's sort of one final obstacle that you need to overcome, whether that's shipping times. What if I don't like the product? In which case, you show them a risk reversal. Is this product actually high quality? Let's just say, in which case you show them social proof. So just list out sort of the most common objections and then handle those in each email. It should be a separate objection handler in each email. Finally, or not finally, almost finally, we got the site abandonment. This one's super straightforward. Essentially, anybody who's active on site, you want to be pretty conservative with this. Only send this once a month maximum. Basically, that's a flow filter. It's like has not been in this flow in the last 30 days. Wait 1 hour. Well, actually, you want to A/B test this, but anywhere between 1 hour and 4 hours, or even 30 minutes. And basically, you're just going to be coming at this from the frame of a helpful shop assistant. It's like, all right, do you still need help choosing? In which case, like, here are best recommendations, or in this case, here are some of our recommendations. Basically, just show the best sellers. And then what some brands like to do, it's like, oh, like if you need any more help, like feel free to, reply to this email. You could basically just be helpful. Okay. People appreciate that. All right. Finally, we have the post-purchase sequence, and this is going to be sort of the most complex. And this isn't even like our final sort of the final form of this. This is only showing the 1x purchasers and 2x purchasers, and then we have a separate flow for 3x and 4x plus a VIP flow. That's sort of more advanced stuff. This is just sort of a core post-purchase flow that every brand should have. So here's how it works. So you want to put a split here. So anybody who's purchased at least once over all time is going to be served this flow path right here. Anybody who's purchased over one time is going to be served this one right here. So this one right here is basically just a plain text thank you. It's like, thanks so much for shopping with us. And then a nice sort of, there's some other stuff on there, but that's basically what it's saying. 2 days later, your purchase has made an impact. Plus, here's 10% off towards the bottom, and it's basically making them feel good about their purchase. It's like, all right, you not only bought this, but you've also supported, girls' education in, some third world country. Let's just say, and then this one is going to be an SMS promo. And basically, it's like, hey, did you know like our SMS subscribers are getting a special deal? Essentially, we're just giving them the SMS incentive for anybody who's not already subscribed to SMS. So these are our email-only subscribers. And a certain percentage of these people are going to sign up to the SMS list. It's like, I've already purchased from you. It's like, why not? And once you're on their SMS list, their conversion rate goes way up because everybody checks their SMS. And then finally here, don't forget 10% off your next order, basically just restating the post-purchase upsell that was given to them in email 2. And then for anybody who's purchased more than one time, it then gets sent this one right here, which is a thank you note, plus a 10% off. So thanks so much for purchasing from us again. It means the world to us that you've chosen us for your, whatever. Here's 10% off, basically is what this one's saying. And this one does pretty well. And then loyalty program. So what I see with the loyalty program with a lot of brands is they'll put it in their welcome flow, which makes no sense because it's like those people haven't even purchased yet. You only want to be sending the loyalty program to people who've purchased from you. And I would recommend anybody who's purchased from you twice, because if you buy it from them once, it's like, all right, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sold on the brand. It's like, I just bought from you to sort of try it out. If they buy from you twice, it's like, okay, like they've sort of crossed that threshold in their head where they're like, okay, like I am now a customer of this brand, like a repeat customer, let's just say. So you want to get them on your loyalty program, or if you have a VIP program, tell them about that, etc. That's basically just going to incentivize them to make their third purchase and, just keep coming back in the future. So that's everything for this video here. Again, we covered the welcome flow, check out abandonment, browse abandonment, site abandonment, and the post-purchase flow. So that's about it.